Jessica Pegula takes note of Joe Burrow after she and Buffalo Bills owning father Terry get playfully teased over their identical habit. Jessica Pegula's camaraderie with her fellow players has long been a highlight for tennis fans, often producing lighthearted and memorable moments. The latest came when the American became the subject of playful jibes from the Players Box podcast co-hosts Madison Keys and Jennifer Brady, who reacted to a side-by-side image of Pegula sporting wired headphones, much like her father. Now, days later, the world number 6 has addressed those jokes on her Instagram story and cited the example of Cincinnati Bengals quarterback Joe Burrow. Jessica Pegula cites Joe Burrow's example days after witnessing playful jibes on her habit identical to her father Terry's. Behind Pegula's rise in tennis stands one of the most prominent business stories in the sport. Her father, Terry Pegula, amassed his wealth after founding East Resources, an oil and natural gas company he later sold for billions. That financial success ultimately ushered him into top-tier sports ownership, including the Buffalo Bills of the NFL, National Football League, and the Buffalo Sabres of the NHL, National Hockey League. During a recent episode of the Players Box podcast, Pegula's co-hosts playfully pointed out the striking similarity she shares with her father, noting that both prefer wired earphones. The fact soon made waves online when they posted a side-by-side image of the father-daughter duo sporting the same style, captioned, "Like father, like daughter." The post also sparked playful reactions from Brady and Keys. Brady alluded to Pegula's affluent family background with a witty Chinese word often used for Jessica, meaning big rich. Meanwhile, the 2025 Australian Open champion, Keys, added humor of her own, joking, "Terry knows about the brain melt," in reference to the renewed buzz around wired earphones amid growing concerns over wireless earbuds and brain health. Days after the exchange, the 31-year-old shared an Instagram post by Burrow featuring several pictures, including one where the young footballer sported a white fleece jacket, a black t-shirt, and notably wired earphones. She tagged the podcast's official handle and added a light-hearted caption to her story. "And you're telling me wired headphones aren't it?" she asked. Pegula didn't fail to impress on the tennis front, having a phenomenal 2025 season. She claimed 3 tour-level titles at the Bad Homburg Open, the Charleston Open, and the ATX Open in Austin. She earned a place at the WTA Finals in Riyadh, where she finished as a semi-finalist. The American finished the year ranked world number 6, compiling an impressive 53-23 win-loss record. Jessica Pegula had always prided herself on keeping her tennis world and her family's football kingdom in 2 separate, carefully managed lanes. One involved forehands, baseline rallies, and week-to-week travel. The other revolved around stadium lights, sideline drama, and the rumbling heartbeat of the Buffalo Bills fan base. But every once in a while the two universes collided, and usually with a comedic twist. This time it all started because of a habit. A small one. Harmless even, but apparently unforgettable. It was late afternoon after one of her practice sessions when Jessica's phone lit up with a message from a Bills staffer she'd known for years. "You and your dad, the same. Exactly the same. Watch this." Attached was a short clip. She tapped it open and burst out laughing. There was Terry Pegula on the sidelines at Highmark Stadium last Sunday, arms folded tightly across his chest, head tilted in concentration, lips pursed slightly every time the Bills' offense lined up. He rocked subtly back and forth as though he was the one preparing to snap the ball rather than the quarterback. And then the camera, almost mischievously, cut to Jessica in the family box. Arms folded. Head tilted. Same pursed lips. Same micro-rocking motion. She looked like a mirror reflection of her father. Fans online noticed immediately. One wrote, "Pegulas are synced up like a father-daughter Wi-Fi network." Another tweeted, "Jessica Pegula watching the Bills in full Terry mode. Copy-paste energy." And then, somehow, the video found its way into the hands of Joe Burrow. The Cincinnati Bengals quarterback wasn't even playing the Bills that week, but NFL players always had a way of seeing everything online. Within hours, he'd responded on social media with a playful comment. "Elite game-focused stance. Might need to borrow that." And then, because fans are fans, someone edited a clip of Burrow on the sideline, arms folded exactly like the Pegulas, complete with dramatic NFL Films music layered underneath. It went viral in seconds. Jessica could only shake her head in disbelief. She'd been involved in her share of sports crossover moments. Serena Williams referencing her on Instagram, Josh Allen congratulating her after the Australian Open quarterfinals, but this was somehow the funniest. That night she finally called her dad. "Did you see what the internet is doing to us?" she asked, half amused, half horrified. Terry snorted. Jess, they tease me every week. Keeps him busy. Pause. But seeing you in the same stance, okay, I'll admit that was pretty hilarious. But do I really stand like that? She asked. Her father laughed. Oh yeah. That's your don't mess up the point face. I've seen it 1,000 times. Jessica wasn't entirely convinced, until she scrolled through a few tennis match photos. There she was on the bench during changeovers. Arms crossed, head tilted, the familiar calculated intensity plastered across her expression. She groaned. The next morning, back on the practice court, Jessica told her hitting partner the story. Every time she folded her arms or tilted her head, he'd imitate her exaggeratedly until she dissolved into laughter. You're becoming a meme, he teased. Apparently, she said, rolling her eyes. Thanks, Dad. But the Burrow comment stuck with her. Joe Burrow was one of those athletes she deeply respected, from his calm, surgical presence on the field to the unshakable confidence he carried. The fact that he joked about her stance made her wonder if he knew just how much mental energy went into the life of a tennis player who also carried the weight of a football empire's expectations. Later that day, she fired off a good-natured reply of her own. Anytime you need sideline focus tips, Joe, I got you. My dad too, apparently. The NFL world ate it up. Suddenly, Jessica was trending on football Twitter almost as much as she was on tennis Twitter. Reporters caught wind of it quickly. After practice, a journalist tossed her a question. So Jessica, Joe Burrow says he might borrow your focus stance. Thoughts? Jessica smirked. He wins playoff games with his. I just win rallies. But if he wants lessons, I'll teach him the Pegula lock-in. Trademark pending. Everyone laughed. But beneath the humor, the moment highlighted something deeper, something she rarely acknowledged publicly. There were parts of her father she'd inherited, not just in business, not just in competitiveness, but in these subtle unconscious ways. The little things that shaped how she approached pressure or passion. She had grown up watching Terry Pegula pour heart and soul into the Bills and the Sabres, not because he had to, but because he cared. She carried that into tennis. The posture of someone invested, focused, never halfway in. Maybe that was why she watched games like she was on the field.